I'm now joined by one of my favorite people to interview in all of MMA. It's Charles Jourdain. I like the shirt. Jourdain, uh,
Jamais
jamais
fini. It's
fini,
never
never
over.
finished. I like
Yes,
it. That's
sir.
your new expression.
Yes, it is.
Well, elaborate. Why never finished?
Never finished because I said recently in an interview with the UFC that I admitted that I came from a very privileged home in Bel Quebec, Canada. I could have done any type of job I wanted, and then I choose to do fighting, which is a very tough job in my opinion. So coming from that like privileged environment, I thought I would be weak-minded when it comes to defeat. And I'm glad I wasn't because I had a very bad 2020. But for me, it's really bad. I didn't get a single win in 2020, and plus the whole COVID thing and everything. It was a very intense year, and a very intense year for everybody. So they just came up like c'est jamais fini. It's never done. It's never over. When you have a dream, when you keep believing in yourself, I know it sounds cheesy. Sorry for you guys who find me cringy, but I believe in myself. And even though I had a rough 2020 and people start doubting, oh, Charles, is he at his place in the UFC? Is he that good? Because I was, riding that big wave of being a two-division champion in TKO, blah, 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 like that all big thing. And then like been on win loss type of a thing in the UFC. So people start doubting me, and that put doubt in me. The people were yelling, like, "Is he that good?" And I was like, "Am I that good?" And then I realized I am. I just need to figure some things out. I need just to get stronger, and it's never over until I say I'm done. Nobody can say I'm done.
So when you say you came from a place of privilege, I know a lot of people that get into mixed martial arts come from pretty rough backgrounds, growing up in
Exactly.
bad areas, coming from a single parent home. Walk me through your upbringing and why you think that you come from a specific place of privilege versus a lot of the other people in the sport.
By privilege, I mean a place where I had many opportunities. Like I could have done, I didn't grow up rich. I grew up with four brothers, so it was a very testosterone-ish environment, very intense, like pushing around a lot. Like I never get to have my own clothes. It was always the clothes of the two older brothers, and then I was passing mine to my brother Louis. So it was a normal life, a normal Canadian life, if you want. But what I mean by privilege is I could have become a veterinarian. That's what I wanted to do at first. I entered the police academy, but then I said no. I'm going to Thailand and pursue that fighting dream of mine. So what I mean by privilege is the opportunity to do anything else presented to me, and then I choose a very rough career, but it was something I was passionate about. So that's what I mean by privilege. I decided to become a fighter, so I didn't grow up wrestling bear. I didn't grow up in a poor environment that like boxing or MMA saved my life or anything. I just really, really love it. And I could have done anything else. And I choose this job because I'm very passionate about it.
Well, that's certainly a great way of thinking. Now, your last fight against Kulabau, we talked about this before the fight. You like to fight guys that you're scared of. That when you go
Yes,
to bed at night, they keep you awake. You
yes,
said that you did not have that with Josh Kulabau. Now you're fighting a guy who's
yes.
brand new to the UFC, Marcelo Rojo. Are you in the same boat?
Yeah. Yes, absolutely. And that was like if I lost because of something, it was because I couldn't pull the trigger. There was many factors that brought me backwards into that fight. I don't know. I just it was the first fight I arrived and I was like, can this be over so I can go home? It was also the traveling, the fighting at 4 a.m. The I was sleeping like 2 hours a day during the day in the hotel in Abu Dhabi. I know many fighters talked about it. Fighting in the morning was very weird. And just like you said, it wasn't something that was exciting me as much. And you know why all of this got to my head? Because I was on my phone the whole week. I was looking at interviews. I was looking at prediction. I was looking at everything everybody has to say about me, and that changed my perspective on fighting. When I arrived in the UFC, it was all about proving who I was instead of just fighting and having fun like I was in TKO. So now in this fight, doesn't matter who I'm fighting. He's good. He's in the UFC. He's dangerous, and I need to fight. All of this, I need to impress. I need to finish with a flying knee. I need to be spectacular. I don't need anything. I need to fight. And when I'm in that zone, I perform amazingly. So like in Busan, I was like, you know what? F it. I don't know if I can say the F word, but just let it go. And that's what I did in the third round against Koulibaly. I just said, you know what, just have fun, and that was my best round of the whole fight. So I'm coming with that mentality of just I'm there to fight, I'm there to enjoy, I'm there to do the thing I love the most in life, and it's a privilege. But I won't put myself with I need to do this, I need to win spectacularly, I need to blah blah blah. I just need to fight. That's all there is in my mind currently.
Certainly a good thought. So when you were looking at the previews and you're looking at interviews and things like that, does it become confirmation bias? You're a 4-1 favorite in that fight. Everybody says Charles Jourdain's going to win this fight. This is this is an easy one for him compared to his last fight against Fili or against Doo Ho Choi. Does that kind of get into your head where it's like, okay, yeah, this should be a walk in the park, and then I can go home and celebrate?
Not anymore. No, not anymore. There's nothing after this fight. Like after before the fight in Abu Dhabi, I was like, oh, after this fight, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna put time in that. Blah blah blah. I'm gonna. There's nothing. There's nothing. My mind is point blank. My mind is so centered on that fight that it doesn't matter if I'm there. Like it's a very repetitive thing right now. This situation that I am like I was against Koulibaly, big favorite. I'm supposed to be that guy in 1 round, 1 minute, whatever. Like all these experts were saying this and that. I agree. They have their thing to say and they have their thing to sell. But that's not my job. My job is to fight. My job is not to do what people expect me to do. I'm gonna do what I can. I'm gonna fight. I'm gonna pull the trigger as soon as I enter the octagon. I just went into the octagon here at the Apex. It's a small octagon. I think that's why I had so much success against Philly, even though I lost by split decision. But it was a very like clash of energy, clash of it's a small octagon, like I fought in TKO. So yeah, I'm just here for the fight mainly.
I watched some tape on Rojo to see what kind of a fighter he's like. It reminds me a little bit of you. I mean, he's very he walks forward. He's tall. He's got a lot of different tools and
Yes.
tricks. Do you like that when you see a fighter like that and you knowing that that's what you're going to be getting into?
Yes, he's a very exciting fighter. He got like 8 knockouts, 4 submissions. Like 10 of his 16 victories were by way of finishes. So I got a lot of respect for that. Uh, right hand guy, like just like to mess you around with the jab and then throw that overhand. No, it's a very fun matchup. He makes me think of a smaller version of Choi, and he's a cowboy. He comes in to shoot, and I'm I was very excited when I knew I was fighting that guy. It's going to be the first time I'm fighting a guy who comes up from 135. He really looked like he has a small frame, but he has power. So now he's going to be up to 145. So is he going to be more powerful, this and that? I don't know. But he's a quite experienced guy. I think he has 24 professional fights. I think I got 12. So he got twice the amount of experience. And one thing that differs from this fight and the last one with Koulibaly is Koulibaly, I only had like one highlight of him on YouTube made by probably some of his friends. So I had nothing on the guy. Now I have a big, not bibliothèque, but
Like a
a big,
sample size, yeah, library.
exactly. I have so many fights, so many things I can watch from him. So I'm very happy that I get to gather all these information like my last opponent could do. So I watch his fights. I'm very excited. I think it's going to be a great matchup. He's not much into grappling. My grappling got a lot better, but it's not what I'm focusing on. I'm a Muay Thai guy. I like standing up. I like striking exchange, the small octagon, him and me. There's no reason that fight's going to be boring. I think I've never been into a boring fight, and it's not going to start Saturday. That's for sure.
One guy that you had talked about prior to this was Cub Swanson. Now there was a report that Gavin Tucker was going to face Swanson. Now Tucker ends up on this card against Dan Ige,
Yes.
and Swanson has no opponent. Is that somebody that you'd still like to target should you get a win this weekend?
I mean, sadly, I don't think I'm in a position to ask something like that. I'm gonna face a guy who comes up from 135, first fight in the UFC, so it's not giving me enough credit to ask for a fight against Cub. But if he's interested, I mean, of course, I'm gonna spill it out afterwards. But I heard some rumors that he was going to fight Giga Chikadze on the Fight Island or something like that. So maybe it's wrong. I saw that on Instagram. I sent it to my coach like 2 3 days ago. So I was quite happy when I saw that Tucker was not fighting him. I was like, man, maybe I get my crack at Cub. But like I said, if he's interested in the fight, he has all the power to make it happen. Me, I don't. I have to make more prove that I belong to the top of the division right now.
I did the podcast with Joe like I do every week, and he said something that stuck out to me last week. He said that he's never met any fighters that sleep before their fight, that are able to sleep before their fight. And I was thinking to myself, maybe Israel. Israel's so calm. He always seems so cool. And then he lost this past weekend, and in his post fight, he said, I couldn't get any sleep the night before this fight.
Yeah.
So I'm wondering from
Hmm.
you, what's the most sleep you've gotten the night before a fight?
It's not the sleep that is a problem because me, I have a, it's not a disorder or anything, but I cannot go to sleep without watching something because other else, mama, I won't sleep. I won't go to sleep. So like I'm watching Vikings currently. I enjoy it. So I put on the my tablet. I watch it. Go to sleep. Fine. If I wake up once during night, 4 a.m., 6 a.m., whatever, I cannot go to sleep back because my brain just starting to, it's a fight, it's a fight, it's a fight, it's fight day. Okay, what can I do to make sure? It's weird. It's a very weird thing to explain, but yeah, sleeping fine. Once I wake up, I could wake up at 2 a.m. My brain just starts, and it's very hard to go back to sleep on fight day. I mean,
Yeah, but normally you're okay, I guess. Normally you don't need to be watching Vikings on a regular day.
yeah, fight camp is great. I put on my tablet, watch a little show, fall asleep, wake up, take like magnesium or other type of little pills if I need to. But it's very rare. Normally, like one magnesium, watch Vikings, go to sleep, and I'm good during camp. But fight week, yeah, it's weird. It's hard.
And I saw your brother Louis has fought somewhat recently for Brave. He hadn't fought in a long time and fell short in his fight. What did he learn from that, and what have you guys been working on since then?
Louis, yeah, he fought in Abu Dhabi and it didn't go his way. He had 2 weeks to prepare. He was in great shape, but he it was like a last minute fight. A wrestler, the guy took him down, and the guy was surviving in the stand up exchange. Like, sadly, me and Louis did a big mistakes being hyped by the media as strikers. Because Louis back then in amateur, he went like 10 and 0 as an amateur fighting big men, big guys at his weight. And Louis was taking them down, Kimura, Ambar. Louis was beating those guys up. And then as we started to go up, people say, oh, these two are very good strikers. So we just let that implement into our mind. So, let's work more on our striking and less on our other part. And when we fight, we don't need to take it. Like Louis, if in his fight, like the third round, he would have took the guy down and started ground and pound. He probably would have won this fight, but we had this barrier of you are a striker, but there's no barriers. I allowed the media to tell me what type of fighter I was. So of course this is my strong point, but man, I'm becoming more and more of a great grappler. Koulibaly couldn't take me down, and he from the tapes I saw, he was taking down most of his opponent. And no, I can't wait to show my sorry jiu-jitsu ability. And just like Louis needs to understand that there's no barriers. Louis is a very good wrestler. He has very great timing, very good jiu-jitsu, and he needs to put emphasis on that. So what we've learned is break the barriers. We're not only Charles and Louis good strikers. We're more than that.
And finally, a lot of Canadians on this card. Yourself, Misha Serkinov,
Yes.
Gavin Tucker, some of the really the best Canadians in the UFC right now. Have you made any new friends this weekend?
No, sadly, I didn't see anybody. I just arrived yesterday. We did COVID tests. We have to do quarantine. I saw Leon Edwards yesterday, and the door was slightly open, and I was like, should I knock on the door and be like, did someone order a 3 piece and a soda? And I was like, that's a bad idea. He's gonna take me down, and I'm gonna look like a fool. No, it was just a funny thing. I was on Instagram and I told that, and everybody was laughing about it. But no, the Leon is the only guy I saw in the whole lobby and everything.
All right, well, hopefully you get a chance to reminisce. I don't know how close you want to get to Gavin Tucker, since I guess he's technically the competition, but nice Canadian boy who has trained at TriStar, trains out east, and certainly a good reflection on the sport. I think his fight with Dan Ige is going to be a really exciting one.
It's a big fight. It's a very big fight. And me and people around me, we were wondering why would you take a very hard fight instead of an exposure fight? And that's what you do when you want to be the best in the world. And I hats off to him for doing something like that. Me, I'm fighting Cub Swanson in a month, and you tell me, hey, you want to fight Dan Hige? And I'm like, no, get away from me. I'm fighting Cub Swanson. Like me, for me, Cub is one of the most interesting fight I can get. But hey, hats off to him. It was a very brave and yeah, just a brave decision from his part. So, yeah, very good representative of Canada, Gavin Tucker.
All right. Well, it's always a pleasure catching up with you, Charles. Best of luck this weekend
Likewise.
against Marcelo Rojo,
I
and
appreciate it.
hope to speak with you if you're victorious this weekend. We should catch up next week, and if not, we should catch up next week anyways. I appreciate your time.
Absolutely. Thank you very much, everyone. I want to be at that podcast with you and Joe soon. All right. I need
All
to
right,
be
let's
with
do
you
it.
guys.
If you
I
can
want to
work
talk
around
with you
Joe's
guys.
schedule like I do, you can join us
Yeah.
anytime. It's Joe's schedule is it's very full. But if you can get
Yeah.
if you can get in on the time where he's available, you're in.
That would be amazing. That would speaking with the two of you at the same time. That would be great for me. So thank you very much for your time. I appreciate it.